Hi, it's Karen from Accidentally Creative. I hope today finds you all well. Today I would like to do a tutorial on this card that I've made right here. I won't be showing every element of it because I will be showing the embossing that I'm doing, but I hope you enjoy watching this. So it's a mix between the Sweetest Star and Humble Home. These are both in the mini catalogue that's live at the moment and runs from September through to December 2024. They come with punches. Let me just have a quick look to see whether I can show you the page. Should have had this prepared, but I didn't. There we go. I didn't get the punch for Humble Home, but I did get the punch for the Sweetest Star. Okay, let's get into this, shall we? Let's move these out of the way for now. Pop my little inspiration in front of me, out of shot, but so I can remember what I'm meant to be doing. Okay, so for this card we are going to need, and I've popped the measurements over here on the post-it note. So for the card base, which I'm using Lost Lagoon, and obviously some white, and then the designer series paper that I'm going to be using is from Sentimental Christmas. Okay, so let's get those all cut to size, and then we can start assembling the card and then doing the elements. So let's start with Lost Lagoon, and for this we need a piece of 10 by 7 scored at 5, which will give me my favorite card base. So 10 by 7, and scoring at, oops, that's because I haven't got my, there we go, scoring at 5. Which gives me 7 by 5 card blank. Then for the inside of the card, I need to cut some 6 by 3/4 by 4 3/4. I need to do that twice. So let's do it this way. 6 3/4. And then 2 lots of 4 3/4. One for the inside and one for the outside. Okay, so that's our mat. Now for the layer, using the DSP, I need 6.5 by 4.5. So the 6.5, that's pretty close to it anyway. So, and then the 4.5. Let's just take that down a smidge just so it's the same border. Okay. So that's all the cutting and scoring we need. So, one to go inside, one to go on top, then our DSP layer. Okay, let's get them stuck down and then we can move on with the rest of it. I thoroughly enjoyed putting this design together. It didn't start out how it's ended up, which I think is quite often the way. I wasn't sure quite what I was going to do with it, but I decided I was going to play anyway, and I really enjoyed what came out of it. So sometimes just playing in your craft room or craft space brings really lovely results. Right, let's just, okay, let's pop this one on. The other side of that designer series paper is gorgeous as well, and but it wasn't what I wanted for this, although it would work, but I'm going to stick with what I've decided to do. I may well have a play around later using the other side of the designer series paper. Okay. Now, not quite straight. Let's just... There we go. That's better. See, it's beautiful, isn't it? But this is the side I've chosen to make this with. So, and I love these trees. I really do. In fact, all of this paper pack, the Sentimental Christmas, is gorgeous. A nod back to the 70s, 60s kind of papers that were around. And of course, I was a little girl then, so obviously it appeals to me. Okay. Okay, so that's our card base put together. Make sure I'm not sticking the inside there. Okay, so let's have another look at what we're going to achieve. So you can see there's another layer here, and that's what I'm going to show you next, because what we need to do is let this layer completely dry before doing the embossing. So just grab myself another piece of white, and that shape is cut out using the second to largest deckled rectangle. So let me just show you. So it's the next one in from the largest. Okay, that's the one I'm going to be using. So let's cut us a piece of cardstock around that. And we're going to run this through the die cutting machine, which is off to my left. You don't want me to have to hunt that through into view. You'll be able to hear me cranking the wheel. Okay, so there we go. There's our piece. Oh, it's actually left me with not a bad frame. I'm going to save that for later, see whether I need to use it for something else. So how I achieved this look was I got some balmy blue. I haven't gone with necessarily the colours that were in the paper. I've gone with the colours that I wanted to use, and quite often that's the way I roll. So, you know, if you want to choose the colours that are in the papers, fine, but for me this works. So I'm going to load up a brush with Balmy Blue, and I'm starting in the middle, which isn't necessarily the right way to do things, but I wanted to be able to fan out the colour from the middle. And it's really just about keeping, I'm going to stuck my finger in it, okay, keeping the brush moving and taking it out towards the edges. There we go. I think that is going to be fine. Might want to put a little bit there, a bit darker that side. Okay, let's pop that away before I stick myself in it again. So that was Balmy Blue. Next one I'm going to use is Lost Lagoon. And again, with a brush. Now the Lost Lagoon, I'm going to start on the edges and start coming in. And just keep moving whilst you're doing this, and it'll all fade into each other or blend into each other. So really what you're doing is you're using the bulk of the ink on the outside edge and then coming in with what's remaining on the brush to meet up with the Balmy Blue. Takes a few minutes, but I like the effect. And I think it's better than having another block of colour that is just a block of colour, if you know what I mean. This way you get a blend. Okay, we need to let that dry before we do the next stage on that background. I'm going to pop it over there for the moment. Okay, now let's do a little bit of stamping. So, using the Sweetest star, I have got Father Christmas on the block. Let's just cut us a piece of paper, bring that in. Using Memento Tuxedo Black, because we would be colouring this with the blends. Okay. Oh, we lay it down. I always like to give the ink a chance to get onto the paper, rather than just lifting it up straight away. There. Nice crisp image. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, I'm not going to be colouring in this time. I'm sure you all know how to colour in, but I'm going to show you how to do embossing instead. So this stamp set comes with a punch, and I'm making it look difficult. It's not. It's really easy. It pops out. And it's absolutely lovely. I will save that one for later, for when I'm... Oh, excuse my dog. She'll get bored in a minute, hopefully. Pop that one over there. Okay, let's go back to this. And I'm going to help it along a little bit and dry it off. So mind your ears. hoping that my dog will have got bored of barking at people walking outside now and allow me to do this in peace. So I'm going to use the embossing buddy, and I'm just going to gently go over. There we go. And using the star corner stamp and Versamark ink, I'm going to stamp 2 places on this card. So up towards that corner. And down towards this corner. Okay. I'm using the Wow Opaque Bright White embossing powder, and I'm going to sprinkle liberally over each area. Now, what the embossing buddy, the little bag that you saw me using just now, does, that eliminates any fingerprints or moisture or oils from your hands that may attract the embossing powder. So you get a much better finish. Let me just see whether I just hadn't sprinkled on that particular snowflake very well, so that's the good thing about this. You can go back in and rectify your errors if you've made any. Okay, so now I need to heat set this. Keep your fingers out of the way because your fingers get a little bit hot otherwise. See, as it catches, it becomes brighter. It's lovely. Okay, so that's the heat embossing. I love it. I think it's so magical, to be fair. Right, the rest of the card, let's get on and do, shall we? I'll pop that one over there. So this panel here is going to be raised up on there, and by the magic of a Blue Peter moment, there are my Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. However, I've got one article or one thing that I need to punch. Sorry, I need to stamp, which is the heart that goes in the middle. So for that, I am using Poppy Parade as the base colour of the heart. Okay, so that's Poppy Parade. I've made a mistake. I do apologise. I'm going to redo this. I am going to be using Poppy Parade. So, stamp it up. But what I'm also going to do is with the Dauber and Cherry Cobbler is just tap on the edge on one side the Cherry Cobbler, and hopefully it'll come out looking a little more 3D. Can you see the difference? Just gives it a little bit more of a depth. So in a way, it's glad that I did it wrong so I could show you the difference. That's what I'm going to stick to, I think. And for this, I need to do a tiny bit of fussy cutting. It's such a small bit of fussy cutting that it won't take very long at all. So again, I angle my scissors slightly outwards so I can actually see where I'm cutting. And I go slowly, turning the card, not the scissors. And if you've got any spiky bits, like I have a little bit there, ignore them for now. Don't try and rectify them at this point. Go back in when we've finished. So again, angling the scissors outwards so I can see the cutting blade. Otherwise, I would end up cutting into the colour, and that isn't the point of this. So let's just round off that bit, and this bit here, just a little trim. Just a little trim. Okay, so that is our heart shape. Fussy cutting isn't for everyone, and as you can see, I have to go back in and, you know, rescue my fussy cutting just like everybody else would. So, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. One more thing to do before we actually assemble everything is, now I had the piece of paper ready. Now what did I do with it? Okay, is stamp the greeting, which I'm going to stamp in Lagoon, and it's wishing you a holly jolly Christmas from the Sweetest Star stamp set. Now, this isn't going to be quite so easy because I'm leaning. So let's see whether I can get it fairly well done. Yes, I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. Okay. Let's get the card put together. So I'm going to need some dimensionals. Let's get them peeled off. I think this card is going to be the card that I'm going to send to friends rather than doing individual ones, because I actually really like this card. I love the way it's turned out. So that needs to, yeah, just there. Then on the back of Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Now, I've coloured them in quite simply, and it would take, this video would be too long if I was going to do that on screen right now. So I've chosen to colour them in advance. In fact, I got lots of them and did them in advance, and the same with when I show you the next card that I'm going to be doing. Well, I'm not going to show you on screen now, but I will be doing a gingerbread man card, and that is such fun. Okay, so nicely popped up. I use quite a lot of dimensionals, but I prefer to do that than have them sag too much. I want their points to be, you know, there. Yeah, I want their points to be held out rather than curling. That's just me. I looked at this bundle and I thought, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Until I started using it. And then I realised just how much fun it actually is. So that's Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Now, the heart, I'm going to raise up on a couple of dimensionals. One on top of each other. Because I want the heart to be coming away from them slightly. There we go. There we go. Last thing to do for this card, well, we've got the snow either side like that. Oh, and this. Now, this looks a bit wide to me, so I'm going to, brave it, and just trim it down a bit. And it's about now you start thinking, oh gosh, should I have done that? But yes, I should have done that. Little flag at each end. It's not the best, but it is okay. And we're going to have that slightly off there. So, a few dimensionals. Not happy with that flag end. That's better. At the end of the day, it's paper and ink. If it goes really bad, we can start again. It's, you know, it's not the end of the world. Might feel like it while you're doing it, especially if you spent a lot of time on something and it goes wrong at the last stage. But it is paper and ink. Okay, holly jolly Christmas. Now these areas here are a little sparse. So what I want to do is I want to add some of the, what are they called? White loose snowflakes. And you get so many in here. Perfect for doing shakers, which I will probably have a go at. So I just want 3 little dots there. So 1. 2. And they are different sizes. I've chosen 3 big ones for that. Just let them take. And then down here, I'm going to do 3 little dots as well. Now, I could be using my pickup tool for this, couldn't I? But I forgot. So they will take a little time to dry, but that's okay. It evens the card up slightly. One last thing to do is with the Wink of Stella pen. Mrs. Claus's hair is silvery grey. I'm just going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella just to make it glisten. And Santa's moustache and beard. You won't be able to see this on the screen, but Wink of Stella is beautiful. It gives such a sheen. I don't know whether you can catch it in the light. It gives such a sheen but it doesn't add any gritty feeling to it. It's completely smooth when it dries. So there we go. That is today's card. I hope you like it. I hope you don't mind my errors whilst making it. The other thing I did use the Wink of Stella on is on top of the snowflakes, and it makes them glisten. Let me just do that before I forget. They're not quite stuck down properly yet, so I have to be a bit ginger with them. But yeah, I've enjoyed this card. I've enjoyed making it. I've enjoyed designing it, and I'm really pleased with it. I hope you like it too. Now, if you have enjoyed watching this, please like. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. It would help me out. If you would like to know where to buy the items that I've used, there will be a link in the description box below. If you'd like to become a Stampin' Up customer of mine, there is another link in the box below for that. Having said all of that, enjoy your crafting. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.